The discovery that changed everything. The vast expanse of Outpost Station Epsilon 9 stretched before Captain Maya Chen as she gazed through the viewport of her small office. Located at the farthest reaches of the Galactic Confederation's territory, the station was hardly more than a glorified repair dock, the kind of place where careers came to die. Or at least, that's what the other species believed. For Maya, it was perfect. Here, far from the bureaucracy and rigid traditions of the core worlds, she could work in relative peace. As the only human engineer assigned to this remote outpost, she'd grown accustomed to the sideways glances from the Shoal, Krith, and various other species that made up the Confederation. 3,000 years since humanity had joined the galactic community, and they were still viewed as upstarts, barely tolerated for their unusual thinking. "Captain Chen," came a voice from her communication panel. "The salvage team has returned. They'd brought in that derelict you requested." Maya smiled, her dark eyes lighting up with excitement. "Tell them I'll be right down." The hangar bay was cavernous, designed to accommodate vessels much larger than the battered human transport ship that now rested at its center. The craft was ancient, at least 2 centuries old, a relic from the early days of human expansion. Its hull was scarred and corroded, bearing the marks of countless micro-meteor impacts and harsh radiation exposure. "I don't understand your fascination with this junk," said Commander Vril, his blue-scaled skin glistening under the harsh lights as he approached. The tall Joule officer waved a 3-fingered hand dismissively. "The Confederation's scrapyards are full of superior vessels." Maya ran her hand along the hull, feeling the history beneath her fingertips. "This isn't just any ship, Commander. This is the HSS Pathfinder. It was one of our first long-range vessels, built before we encountered the Confederation." "Primitive technology," Vril said, not bothering to hide the disdain in his voice. "Perhaps," Maya conceded, "but sometimes looking backward is the best way to move forward." Over the next several weeks, Maya spent every free moment with the Pathfinder. She disassembled systems, analyzed components, and studied the curious modifications that had been made to the ship's original design. The previous crew had apparently been experimenting with the propulsion system, making adjustments that made little sense according to conventional physics. Late one night, as she was examining the remains of the experimental drive core, Maya noticed something odd. The gravitational readings around certain components fluctuated in patterns that couldn't be explained by standard theory. She ran the tests again, certain she had made an error. The results were the same. "This can't be right," she muttered to herself, brushing a strand of dark hair from her face. According to her readings, the modified components were creating microfolds in space-time, something that should have been impossible at this technological level. Maya worked through the night, piecing together the puzzle of what the Pathfinder's crew had stumbled upon. By morning, she had developed a theory so revolutionary it made her hands shake as she documented it. If she was right, the implications would change interstellar travel forever. But when she presented her findings to the station's engineering council, the response was exactly what she had expected. "Absurd," declared Chief Engineer Klaxu, his insectoid mandibles clicking in agitation. "What you're suggesting violates at least 7 fundamental principles of Confederation physics." "With all due respect," Maya replied, struggling to keep her voice even, "those principles were established by the founding species. Humans approach physics differently." "Yes," Klaxu chittered, "which is why you remain relegated to the fringe sectors after 3 millennia. Your species has yet to prove it can contribute meaningfully to Confederation science." The dismissal was unanimous. Maya was ordered to dismantle the Pathfinder and recycle its components, her theory officially rejected without so much as a practical test. She had no intention of complying. "They won't even consider the possibility," Maya fumed, pacing the small quarters of Lieutenant Raj Patel, one of the few other humans stationed on Epsilon 9. Raj leaned back in his chair, watching her with a mixture of sympathy and amusement. "You're surprised. The Confederation hasn't approved a major technological advancement in, 500 years? The Founding Seven believe they've reached the pinnacle of technological achievement, Maya said. But they're wrong, Raj. What I found in the Pathfinder, it could change everything. So what are you going to do about it? Maya stopped pacing, a determined look settling on her face. I'm going to prove them wrong. Over the next 3 months, Maya assembled a small team of like-minded individuals, outsiders like herself who believed innovation was still possible. Raj brought in specialists from other outposts. Dr. Elena Sokolov, a theoretical physicist who had been passed over for promotion multiple times due to her radical theories. Technician Jovan, a non-binary engineer whose brilliant adaptations of Confederation technology had been consistently ignored. And surprisingly, a young Krith named Tala, whose fascination with human thinking had made him an outcast among his own kind. They worked in secret, using the Pathfinder as their laboratory, requisitioning parts under false pretenses, and conducting tests during the station's night cycles, when most of the administrative staff were in their sleep rotations. What emerged from their collaboration was nothing short of revolutionary, a propulsion system based on what Maya called quantum fold theory. Rather than pushing against space like conventional drives, the quantum fold created minute wrinkles in the fabric of space-time itself, allowing a vessel to essentially slide through the universe with minimal energy expenditure. If this works, Elena said, her eyes wide as she reviewed the final simulations, a ship could traverse the entire Confederation in days instead of months. When this works, Maya corrected her. We test tomorrow. The test vessel was small, little more than a shuttle with a prototype drive installed. They had modified it to be controlled remotely, as none of them were quite brave enough to be the first organic pilot of such experimental technology. They chose their test site carefully, an uninhabited star system far enough from established shipping lanes to avoid detection, but close enough to reach with conventional drives in a reasonable time. The team gathered in a small control room they had cobbled together from spare parts, watching nervously as Maya initiated the launch sequence. Test vessel away, Raj reported, monitoring the telemetry. Conventional drives functioning normally. Maya took a deep breath, her hand hovering over the activation switch for the quantum fold drive. Here goes everything, she said, and pressed the button. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then the readings on their monitors spiked dramatically. Energy surge. Zhou called out, fingers flying across their control panel. The fold is initiating. On the main view screen, they watched in awe as space itself seemed to wrinkle around the test vessel. The stars blurred, and then, in an instant, the ship was gone. Did it work? Tala asked, his voice hushed. Or did we just vaporize it? Maya checked the long-range sensors, holding her breath. Then a smile broke across her face. It worked. The vessel has reappeared at the target coordinates. Travel time: 3 seconds for a distance that should have taken 2 hours. The room erupted in cheers and embraces. They had done it, proven that the supposedly immutable laws of Confederation physics could be challenged and overcome. What they didn't realize was that their test had not gone unnoticed. The energy signature of the quantum fold was unlike anything seen before, and it had triggered automated alerts throughout Confederation space. Within hours, Maya was summoned to a priority communication. The stern face of Grand Admiral Jovek, the highest-ranking military officer in the sector, filled the screen. "Captain Chen," the admiral said, his voice cold. "You will explain, immediately, what exactly you have done." Maya squared her shoulders, meeting the admiral's gaze without flinching. "Sir, we've developed a new propulsion system, one that could revolutionize travel throughout the Confederation. Without authorization, without oversight, without regard for potential consequences. With respect, Admiral, my team sought authorization. We were denied even the opportunity to test our theories." The admiral's expression didn't change, but something shifted in his eyes. "Your test vessel traversed 200 light minutes in approximately 3 seconds, Captain. Do you have any idea what kind of panic that has caused among our monitoring stations? I imagine quite a lot, sir. The High Council has been notified. They're sending representatives to Epsilon 9 immediately. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. The High Council, the governing body of the entire Confederation, composed of representatives from the 7 founding species, they hadn't shown interest in a human innovation in centuries. Am I to be arrested, Admiral? For the first time, Jovek's severe expression softened slightly. No, Captain. You're to prepare a complete briefing on this. Quantum fold technology. The Council wants to know everything. As the communication ended, Maya stood in stunned silence. After 3,000 years of being marginalized and overlooked, humanity was about to take center stage in the galactic community. And it had all started here, with an ancient ship and a theory that defied conventional wisdom. The news spread quickly through Epsilon 9 and beyond. By the time the Council representatives arrived, the station was buzzing with excitement and apprehension. For better or worse, everything was about to change. Part 2. Changing the Stars. The High Council's delegation arrived with all the ceremony one would expect from the rulers of a 1,000-world civilization. Their massive vessel, the Eternal Harmony, dwarfed everything else in Epsilon 9's docking array, its ancient hull gleaming with the distinctive pearlescent material reserved exclusively for official Confederation ships. Maya stood at attention in the main reception hall, flanked by her team, as the delegates disembarked. 7 representatives, one from each of the founding species, moved with deliberate slowness, their ornate ceremonial garments rustling softly in the station's artificial gravity. Grand Counselor Vex Trull, a towering jewel whose blue scales had faded to pale azure with age, approached Maya first. His eyes, multifaceted and iridescent, regarded her with an intensity that made her skin prickle. Captain Chen, he said, his voice resonating with the natural harmonics of his species. You have caused quite a disturbance in the Confederation. Maya bowed respectfully. That was not our intention, Grand Counselor. Intentions matter less than outcomes, human. Your unauthorized experiment has violated numerous protocols and potentially endangered countless lives. Before Maya could respond, another counselor stepped forward. Ambassador Ulthnar of the Krith, her exoskeleton clicking softly as she moved. However, she added, the preliminary data from your test is intriguing. The Council has agreed to a full demonstration before any decisions are made regarding disciplinary action. It wasn't the outright condemnation Maya had feared, but neither was it the recognition she had hoped for. Still, it was an opportunity, one that humanity hadn't been given in generations. The demonstration was scheduled for the following day. Despite working through the night to ensure everything was perfect, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they were being set up to fail. The Council had assigned their own engineers to assist with the preparations, but the Confederation specialists spent more time questioning and criticizing than helping. They're looking for any excuse to shut us down, Raj muttered as they made final adjustments to the test vessel, now expanded to accommodate passengers. The founding 7 have controlled interstellar travel since the beginning. They're not about to let some humans change the game. Then we won't give them an excuse, Maya replied firmly. This will work, Raj. It has to. The morning of the demonstration arrived, and tension hung in the air like a physical presence. The Council members and a select audience of high-ranking Confederation officials gathered in Epsilon 9's observation lounge, which offered a panoramic view of the test area. Maya stood before them, outwardly calm despite the nervous energy coursing through her. Distinguished counselors, honored guests, I present to you the future of interstellar travel, the quantum fold drive. She activated a holographic display, showing the basic principles of the technology. Conventional drives push against the fabric of spacetime, like a swimmer pushing against water. The quantum fold creates a temporary disruption in that fabric, allowing a vessel to slip through with minimal energy expenditure. Impossible, interrupted Counselor Dexerth of the Valiant Conclave, his gelatinous form pulsing with skepticism. The energy requirements alone would exceed what any practical power source could provide. That would be true, Maya acknowledged, if we were attempting to break the fabric of space-time. But we're not breaking it. We're folding it. The distinction is crucial. She proceeded to explain the mathematics behind the theory, watching as expressions of disbelief gradually shifted to reluctant interest. Even the most conservative council members couldn't deny the elegance of the solution. Theory is one thing, Grand Counselor Vex Troll said when she had finished. Practical application is another. We are here to witness this miracle drive in operation. Of course, Maya nodded. If you'll direct your attention to the main viewport, our test vessel, the HMS Prometheus, is ready for demonstration. The Prometheus wasn't large by Confederation standards, approximately the size of a medium transport, but it represented months of work and the combined intellect of Maya's diverse team. Its hull gleamed silver against the backdrop of stars, the newly installed quantum fold emitters visible as slender protrusions along its length. For safety reasons, this initial demonstration will be conducted remotely, Maya explained, moving to the control console. We've programmed a series of fold jumps of increasing distance, beginning with a short hop to the outer reaches of this system. She activated the first sequence. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then space around the Prometheus appeared to ripple, like heat distortion above a desert road. In an instant, the vessel vanished. A collective gasp rose from the audience. On the tracking display, the Prometheus reappeared exactly at its designated coordinates, over 2 billion kilometers away. Transit time, 2.7 seconds, Raj announced, unable to keep the pride from his voice. Maya allowed herself a small smile. The next jump will take the Prometheus to the Arcturus system, a distance of 36.7 light-years. This time, the council members leaned forward in anticipation. Again, the space around the vessel rippled, and again it vanished. The long-range sensors took several seconds to confirm its arrival. The Prometheus has successfully reached the Arcturus system, Elena reported. Transit time, 9.2 seconds. Even the normally stoic council members couldn't hide their amazement. The journey that would take conventional ships nearly a month had been completed in seconds. The demonstration proceeded through increasingly ambitious jumps, each successful. The tension in the room gradually transformed into excitement as the implications became clear. The quantum fold drive wasn't just an incremental improvement. It was a fundamental reimagining of space travel. As Maya prepared for the final demonstration, a jump to the edge of Confederation space, an urgent communication interrupted the proceedings. Emergency transmission from Nexus Prime, announced the station's eye. Priority Alpha. The main display switched to show a harried-looking Confederation officer. This is Central Command. We have a code black emergency at the Helios Dyson Sphere. Critical containment systems are failing. Estimated time to catastrophic collapse, less than 6 hours. All available vessels are ordered to assist with evacuation. The room erupted in concerned murmurs. The Helios Dyson Sphere was one of the Confederation's most populous habitats, home to over 2 billion sentients. Even with every available ship in the sector responding, they couldn't possibly evacuate more than a fraction of that number in 6 hours. Maya exchanged looks with her team, a silent understanding passing between them. She stepped forward. Central Command, this is Captain Maya Chen at Outpost Epsilon 9. We have a vessel capable of reaching Helios in minutes rather than hours. The officer looked skeptical. Captain, Helios is 17 light days from your position. There's no way. Trust me, Maya interrupted. We can be there in minutes, but I'll need to pilot the vessel myself. Grand Counselor Vex Troll raised a hand. This is highly irregular, Captain. Your drive has not been approved for manned operation. Maya turned to face him directly. With respect, Counselor, we don't have time for approval processes. Billions of lives are at stake. A tense silence fell over the room as the Counselor considered. Finally, he nodded. Go, but understand that if you fail, it will be the end of this project, and possibly of human integration in the Confederation. I understand, Maya said, already moving toward the exit. Raj, Alina, Joe with me. We'll need a full crew. To her surprise, Tala, the young Krith, stepped forward as well. I'm coming too, he said, mandibles set in determination. You'll need someone who understands Confederation evacuation protocols. Give me this image description for generating an image from Leonardo I, as it is this is the title of the story. Please give me same image prompt, and please give me very beautiful girl, and very gorgeous girl in this prompt, and young girl and characters in enter the prompt are aliens and more beautiful and correct prompt about this, and please give same image and very realistic image, and so please give me same image prompt and more hyperrealistic image prompt.